The following is an excerpt from the novel Have Mercy by Earl Sewell. Marshall was on duty when the heavy snowstorm hit. Weather forecasters were predicting 8 to 10 inches. Marshall had pulled over and turned on his squad car lights in an effort to slow motorists driving down a slick incline. He was waiting for a snowplow to clear the roadway. As he waited, he spotted a car pass him at an alarming rate of speed. Before Marshall could even put his squad car back in gear, the driver lost control of the vehicle and drove straight into a nearby lake. Marshall immediately radioed in the location of the accident and requested emergency personnel. Marshall drove his squad car to the accident site and got out. He opened the trunk, grabbed some emergency blankets, and rushed to the shore. He saw a man rushing toward him in a hurry to get off of the thin ice. Marshall quickly rushed over to help the man. Several motorists who were passing by also pulled over to help. "Were you the only one in the car?" Marshall shouted into Luther's ear as he tossed a blanket around him. "No, my wife is still out there," Luther said as another motorist tossed a second blanket around him. "Damn," Marshall said. "What's her name?" "Carmen." "You," Marshall pointed to a motorist who'd rushed over with a flashlight to help. "Make sure the fire department comes to this spot." "Yes, sir," said the motorist. "And shine the beam of light out onto the dark lake, so I will know where the shoreline is," Marshall said as he prepared to walk out onto the thin ice. Marshall removed his gun belt and rushed off into the darkness, calling out to Carmen, "I'm over here! Help me, please! The car is sinking!" Carmen shrieked. When Marshall reached Carmen, she was desperately trying to get out of the car through the passenger window, but was having difficulty because she had an infant in her arms. Marshall knew that every second counted, because the moment the car began taking on water, it would sink rapidly and take Carmen and her baby with it. "Give me the baby!" Marshall reached out and took the child from Carmen so that she could escape more easily. Every maneuver Carmen made to get out caused the ice to crack and split in rapid succession. The sound was unnerving and unsettling. Once Carmen was out, Marshall said, "Let's go now!" He held on tightly to her son as they both began walking as briskly as they could on the slick ice. The sound of the ice cracking was unforgiving and threatened to swallow them if they continued on. Marshall heard a thunderous snap, followed by the sound of the car sinking into the frozen lake. "Keep moving!" Marshall urged Carmen to get ahead of him. "Don't look back!" Marshall yelled. Carmen had just about made it to the shoreline when the ice buckled beneath her feet and sucked her down. Marshall immediately stopped moving because he couldn't see where she'd fallen through. He heard a chorus of voices screaming and shouting, "Pull her out! Pull her out!" Through the blinding snow, Marshall could see silhouettes of motorists and rescue workers who'd arrived on the scene, frantically working to pull Carmen out of the icy water. "I'm over here!" Marshall shrieked. "Shine the light over here so I can see!" Within an instant, there were lights shining on him. He saw that had he taken another 4 or 5 steps, he would have plunged into the icy water with the baby. Marshall took a few steps to the left and was unnerved by the moaning of the ice. "Hurry! Run for it!" he heard one of the rescue workers shout out. Marshall was able to take 2 steps before the ice caved in and swallowed him and the baby.